Hello and welcome to this short demo video on data protection with SnapCenter for SAP HANA on Azure NetApp Files. We put together a series of demo videos where we explain how SnapCenter can be used to optimize data protection operations of your SAP HANA landscape. This video is part 5 of the series, and we will focus on backup and recovery operations with SnapCenter and ANF Backup. ANF Backup provides a fully managed service for long-term data retention. This solution utilizes ANF snapshots by transferring snapshot data to Azure storage according to a configured retention schedule or through on-demand backups. Each backup is self-contained and independent of the source volume and its snapshots, ensuring that your backup data remains accessible even if the source volume becomes unavailable. ANF Backup is optimized for data efficiency. The initial backup captures a full baseline, while subsequent backups only store the change blocks, following an incremental forever strategy. Data transfer occurs at the backend, ensuring no impact on front-end volume performance. You can now enhance the SnapCenter data protection solution with long-term backups by integrating ANF Backup. In SnapCenter, you can configure backup policies that include backup replication using ANF Backup. You can set different retention periods for local ANF snapshot backups and ANF backups to Azure Backup Vault. For example, you might configure 3 days of local ANF snapshots and 30 days of backups in the Azure Backup Vault. Scheduling backups and managing retention for ANF backups are integrated into SnapCenter. End-to-end restore and recovery workflows for ANF backups are available in SnapCenter, similar to those for ANF snapshots. To ensure that SAP HANA application volume configurations are preserved, SnapCenter always performs an in-place restore from the ANF backup. Additionally, SAP system refresh operations can be automated in SnapCenter using ANF backups. Alright, let's quickly review the lab environment we'll use for our demo. We'll be working with the HANA System Peer 1 and will add an additional policy in SnapCenter that includes backup replication with ANF Backup. We'll examine the existing backups in SnapCenter's topology view for the HANA resource and review the Azure Backup Vault and ANF backups in the Azure portal. Next, we'll perform a backup operation on our HANA System Peer 1 and observe the different steps for the local snapshot and the replication with ANF Backup. And finally, we'll briefly demonstrate how to initiate a restore and recovery or a cloning operation in SnapCenter using an ANF Backup. In our demo lab, we have already set up ANF Backup for our HANA systems. Let's start by reviewing the SnapCenter backup policy configured for ANF Backup. An ANF Backup always includes a local ANF snapshot backup, followed by the replication of block changes to the Azure Backup Vault. Therefore, the policy specifies retention periods for both the local snapshot and the backups at the Backup Vault. In our policy, we defined a daily ANF backup operation with a local snapshot retention of 2 days and a retention of 7 days in the Backup Vault. In the SnapCenter resource view, we can observe that the ANF backup policy is assigned to the HANA System Peer 1. Within the resource topology view, we can see that there are 2 local ANF snapshot backups listed for this policy. Additionally, there are currently 4 backups available in the Backup Vault. Now let's check the Azure portal to view the Backup Vault and the corresponding ANF backups. The Azure Backup Vault is automatically created by SnapCenter when the first ANF backup is performed. This same Backup Vault is used for all backups managed by SnapCenter. Now let's proceed with the backup operation and observe the various steps executed by SnapCenter. In the first stage of the backup process, a local ANF snapshot backup is created. This phase is identical to a HANA snapshot backup operation without ANF backup, involving querying the database, creating the snapshot backup, and then unquerying the database. Once the local snapshot backup is completed, SnapCenter initiates another job to replicate the backup to the backup vault. In the Azure portal, we can see a new backup being created in the backup vault. When the SnapCenter job is finished, the Azure portal indicates that the backup is now available in the backup vault. In the SnapCenter resource topology view, we can observe the newly created snapshot backup as well as a new backup stored in the backup vault. With HANA System Replication, ANF backups must be created for both HANA nodes. As discussed in our first demo, backup operations for HSR-enabled systems can only be performed at the primary HSR node. In our lab, we can see that the current primary node has local ANF snapshot backups as well as backups in the backup vault. Backups on the secondary HSR host are created only if a failover occurs and the host becomes the primary HSR node. ANF backup can also be utilized to create long-term backups of non-data volumes. The ANF backup policy must be assigned to the non-data volume resource, and backups are performed in the same manner as for HANA resources. Finally, let's take a brief look at the restore and recovery operations using ANF backups. In the Azure portal, you can either perform a restore to a new volume or restore individual files to the original or another volume. In SnapCenter, you can select any ANF backup to execute restore, recovery, or cloning operations. The restore and recovery workflow is identical to snapshot-based restore operations and offers the same options. To ensure that SAP HANA application volume configurations are preserved, SnapCenter always performs an in-place restore from the ANF backup. Additionally, SAP system refresh workflows based on ANF backups can be executed in SnapCenter. SnapCenter will perform a restore to a new volume and mount the new volume to the target host. Further automation using scripts is available, just as with snapshot backups. With that, thanks a lot for watching the video, take care and bye bye.